My name is Beth Westmoreland, and I am Chief Technology Officer at Blackbaud. These are my notes on innovation. I've been with Blackbaud for 10 years now.
And how has it changed over those 10 years?
It's changed a lot. Some things haven't changed at all. Our passion and mission for doing more good in the world and our commitment to delivering great tech to serve that mission has not changed. But the technology itself has changed dramatically, right? We started 10 years ago as a software company that delivered on-premises software to our customers who managed and installed it. And now we're a full-fledged cloud tech company doing really amazing things.
Did you seek out this position or did they seek you out?
It's a really interesting question. I was actually not recruited to Blackbaud, and in fact, I was turned down when I applied. I was at another company. I was running R&D for a company based in Boston, but I was in the Southeast area. My husband is from the area. And at the time, we had some personal commitments that forced us to stay in this general geography. And I looked at what tech companies were here, and I saw Blackbaud, and I reached out to them, and I promptly got a thanks but no thanks. We'll let you know. And I'm like, wait a second, this is a tech company. So I ended up knowing the CEO through a mutual friend and figured out a way to come to Blackbaud, and the rest is history.
What was attractive to you about Blackbaud?
It was a technology company, a pretty progressive technology company in the Southeast geography. But the mission, as a software engineer and really just as a person, I want to feel like the work that I do and the time that I spend has impact. And Blackbaud offers that to me and to everyone who works here. Blackbaud's mission is to deliver software, services, expertise, data intelligence that serves the global philanthropic community so that we're able to help our customers do more good in the world. Blackbaud is the world's leading provider of software and services for the social good community, and it's always been part of our DNA. And what you see here in the building, the photographs on the wall, the spaces, the innovation center that we've created for our customers to come in and work with us, it's really all about being more close to our customers' mission so that we understand it and that we can help power and serve it better. Our cloud software and services, it's a very wide breadth of capabilities that we provide, but it's not just about the nonprofits we serve. And there's the philanthropic space is definitely the nonprofits. They're kind of like the bread and butter, the folks out there really doing good in the world. And we serve the biggest nonprofits to the very smallest community-based animal shelters and food banks. But then there are other organizations in the world that are doing good. Companies like Blackbaud that have employees who give their dollars and their time, and Blackbaud who gives grants to do more good. Foundations, K-12 organizations, higher ed institutions that have foundations, healthcare organizations, faith-based communities. People like me and you that like to give our time and our dollars, like you said. And so our mission is to provide services for all of those folks. And it does come in the form of enablement of fund collection, but it's also fund management, back office. How do we enable nonprofits to better operate their finances, their CRM systems for K-12 schools, parent portals, student information systems, for faith-based communities, volunteering, event services. And there are common capabilities across all of those verticals, but with the common thread of all of these organizations that do more good.
So you're almost like the central nervous system to a nonprofit.
I like to say that the Blackbaud folks really do have heart and the brain, like you said, but it's a really good metaphor, the central nervous system, because we see ourselves as enablers, right? It's not about Blackbaud, it's about the mission of our customers, but like we have the vision and we're the tech experts and we want to put that to the best use. Things change. Companies have to change as the needs of their customers change, as the environment around us changes. And so as a technology company, to me, that's especially important. The world we live in, just as an example, the world we live in is going through a fourth industrial revolution. The way that we live our lives is fundamentally changing. I have an Apple Watch. My car talks to me and updates itself. Self-driving cars, autonomous vehicles, things like artificial intelligence and big data are changing the world. Nanotechnology, nanocomputing, 3D printing. The world around us, from biotech to computing technology and infrastructure, is fundamentally changing how we live and connecting us in ways that we never thought possible, at least in my lifetime. And so as a technology company, our job is to take advantage of this technological movement and progression and enable our customers to do more as a result of that. So to me, it's an obligation, not just a privilege, is to stay up to date, to be innovative, and to deliver to meet our customers' mission. Not to bore you about how my day goes, but typically I fight some great Charleston traffic, get in here and grab a cup of coffee on the way into my office. And, I have probably a pretty full day of meetings. And, my role is really fundamentally technology, product, user experience, data intelligence strategy. So it's really, my day focuses on that. I'm also part of Blackbaud's executive leadership team. So together as a team, we work with Mike Giannoni, our CEO, in running the company, the operational aspects of the business and advancing the mission for all of our associates, all 3,100 associates. Every day is different, and which is great. I spend a lot of time on a whiteboard, as you might see behind me, with really talented folks. The beauty of my job is I get to work with some of the most amazing, talented folks that I've ever had the privilege of working together with. And so our role is to think about things like strategy, of how technology is able to marry with solutions, like problems that exist, and how we are able to bring those together in ways that drive greater mission to our customers. And sometimes that means I'm working with engineers of how to solve architectural problems, or I'm working with UX designers for how to create beautiful, delightful, integrated experiences that our customers may never ask for, but man, are they going to benefit from. I came here 10 years ago. I was living in South Carolina. I'm originally from southern New Jersey. So left there when I graduated college. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago that was, 30 years ago. And came to the Southeast working for a company called Ipswitch, running their R&D organization. And we had an office in South Carolina, but they were headquartered in Boston. And so I met my husband here, stayed here. We met as engineers when we were fresh grads and out of college. So we worked at the Department of Energy National Lab for a company called DuPont. So we were engineers of the lab there, met, and then went to Ipswitch and then came here.
You have kids?
I have adults. I don't have a kid now. I have a 21-year-old son who has a gift for music. He is a trumpet player, went to school here at Wando High School, and is still at home with us and pursuing his path. I look at work-life balance more, you might have heard the term work-life integration. So for us, dinner table conversation is typically, hey, I had this issue, it was really tough to solve, do you have some ideas on that? Like that, we love to spend time doing that. And so it's kind of like an integrated work to life, and I'm lucky to work and live with someone who has common interests that way and who's pretty freaking smart, who can help me too. But the balance, I would say Blackbaud really takes balance seriously. Of all the companies I've worked for, we give a lot of PTO for that reason, and a lot of companies will allow employees to roll over PTO, and we do some as well. But we really want folks to take time and be with their families, and it's something that I've lived since I've been here and that we promote with all of our associates. Our culture at Blackbaud is primarily focused on the mission of our customers. It's driven by that. So you're going to see a lot of energy and passion for doing more good in the world. And what I think that relays into is how we treat each other. It's with respect. It's a very open culture where we're accepting of people who are themselves, and we celebrate that. And in fact, we search it out. It's important, I think, not just as a good company, but as a technology company, to have people of diverse thought around a table solving a problem who have really different views.
Do you guys have any specific tools or methods to drive innovation here?
We have a lot of different methods that drive innovation. I mean, the primary one is you build teams of great people and give them problems to solve. Don't tell them how to solve it, right? Put a team of UX folks and engineers and product managers and really amazing, talented people together and tell them, here's the problem. And then let them engage with the customers to truly understand it and solve it in ways that are super creative that no one might have thought of. And that's how we live. We have 107 Scrum teams, we call it Scrum teams, that work together. It's a pretty large engineering organization. And that's how we want our organizations to function. But then we also do things like hackathons, right? We have something called Off the Grid. And it's actually a 2-day event now, where any organization, not just our engineering or product teams, they come together and for 2 days, they go off and solve a problem that they identify and that they decide how they're gonna solve, whatever technology, whatever problem, and then we come together as an organization and we demo those things and we vote. And by the way, something really cool is that the winning team goes to BBCon, actually a couple of the winning teams go to our conference, our annual conference, and they show off their wares to the customers and get more feedback. And a lot of that innovation goes into our products and our customers benefit from it. And one other thing I need to mention, and that is we have a team, an amazing, very small, talented team called Blackbaud Labs, and that's our incubation team. And you might have seen the makerspace downstairs. It's run by one of the most brilliant leaders I've had the pleasure of working with. Her name is Roz Lemieux. She was a CEO of a small company called Attentively. And she runs that team as an entrepreneur and invites other people in, but their job is to look at things like new tech and innovate on things that may not be part of our daily jobs, but that help advance the mission of our customers. And it's all of those things together, as well as a leadership team that really truly believes in investing in innovation is what drives that culture. I mean, Blackbaud is unusual in the regard that we've been recognized as a top employer for women in tech by Forbes twice now. We've also had the pleasure of being honored this year by the Anita Borg Institute as a top employer for women technologists in the mid-market space. And you know, I had the honor of being able to accept that award in front of nearly 27,000 people. And it was really wonderful, and I think a tribute to the work that we've done as a leadership team, myself and Catherine LaCour, who is our Chief Marketing Officer, together leading that work. But then, you know, you mentioned being a woman in tech and how it's evolved over 30 years. You're right. Some things have changed and some things haven't. From a personal perspective, I can tell you 30 years ago, I wanted to be known as an engineer, not as a woman, because I felt like when I wrote code, people would look at the code and they would say, wow, that's a pretty good code for a woman. And I thought, you know, I don't want you to see me as a woman. I want you to see me as an engineer. And I want you to put my code up blindly against any other engineer and see it for what it is. And so I think over the years, I maybe kind of didn't want to maybe be that role model or feel like it was people would see me as a role model until recently, when what I realized is I never had that. I didn't really have that strong female role model, and now I see it as a personal obligation to do more. Because fundamentally, we, I think, as a culture, as a country, as a world, need to inspire more people to become more technologically educated and pursue careers. And diversity helps all of us. And so I feel really passionate about it.
So in 2017, you were named one of the top 50 women in tech, I believe, right, by the National Diversity Council?
I was.
How did that make you feel?
I was surprised and, quite honestly, incredibly humbled by the honor. And in being awarded that, it made me think, if I was being awarded this, why? What does the community of women in technology look like? And what I found is there's very few women CTOs, women who lead strategy and engineering and architecture for a company of the size of Blackbaud, as an example. And that made me feel even more committed to working with communities like Forbes and Fortune and the top 50 to help to shape change. I've always taken the mission of giving back seriously through donations, through skills-based services, through volunteering. What I've done recently, to your point, is focused my attention more where I feel like I can advance the mission in a different way. And so I've decided to do things like spend time here in the local Charleston community, advancing the Charleston Women in Tech community. But then also I serve as a trustee on my alma mater, which was, when I went to school, predominantly a women's college, Immaculata University, as well as serving on the College of Engineering, Computing, and Applied Sciences at Clemson University, where diversity is a primary objective as well. So where I feel like I can really help and advance, that's where I spend my time. I don't typically spend a lot of time on campus. We sponsor a lot of events there. We recruit like crazy from Clemson. There's such a great engineering program and computing program that we all spend some time on campus. But as a board member of that department, it's, we work together virtually a lot of times too. We all have a personal story where we have challenges. I mean, I feel like luckily every challenge that I've had to encounter has really helped me along this journey. Some of those we've talked about. Being a woman in technology back in the late 80s was not always easy. And, I probably have a lot of stories that many other women from that time also have. And, it was not always easy. But, now my challenges are different. My challenges are how to make time, how to advance more women in the field, and how to advance Blackbaud as a technological leader. But ultimately, it's how to power our customers' mission. It's to hear you ask questions about me being successful or to see me becoming what I am over time is still a bit of a, I feel like you're talking to someone behind me sometimes, so I have to call that out. I think we have to be a community of really authentic, real people who are visible and can help each other. So that's number one. But as a person, a young person, an older person, a woman, a man, really anyone who wants to pursue a career in tech, is do it. Try it. It's never too late. You can do it. It's drop the perception of what a technologist is and think about how you can enter the field, either through an interest that you might have, an educational program that exists, a colleague who might mentor you. Just reach out, because the support is there. Each of their Scrum teams have stand-ups every day. That's how our Agile Scrum process works. And so each engineer or product person or UX designer, they answer 3 questions. What did I do yesterday? What am I going to do today? What challenges do I face? Do I need taken out of the way? But the thing about a whiteboard is that it's blank, right? You put a blank piece of paper in front of a team and you tell them to solve a problem, and they rally around it and they're like, where do we start? How do we start? What ideas do we have? And so it almost is that tool for collaboration. I like standing in front of, I use the whiteboard because I like teams standing in front of it, because you're moving and it's active. It's not, stale, and you're sitting down and everyone must talk to each other and wait to be asked, right? It's a team of just people together with markers in hand, brainstorming as they're visualizing. And I'm a visual person. I like to see an answer come to life in the form of a visual on a board. Look, some of the best ideas, and really probably most of the best ideas, let's say most of the best ideas, come from all of the engineers and services folks and customer representatives and sales folks and product folks who really understand what our customers are trying to do and have great ideas about how to do it. And so we have to find a forum and a process where those ideas get escalated and that we're able to act on them. And that's where the innovation comes in. That's where the culture comes in. Feedback that is important to us as a technology company is when we come up with an idea, that we have to make sure that it's valuable to our users. And we do that in a couple of ways. One of them is watching them, like sitting with them and understanding the problem, showing them some vision types or a prototype of a creative new solution, and seeing, does it really solve their need? The other way is to ship code, to light up features in the cloud apps that we deliver, and then just listen, sit back and watch. Can a customer find something? Like, is it usable? Do they go back to it? a second or third time? Is it valuable? And to me, like, that is the difference in a cloud tech company where you have the ability to leverage telemetry in ways that will point you in the right direction. Thanks, everybody. I'm Mary Beth, and those were my notes on innovation.